Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Castle Run. I'm your DM, Elijah Goodall, pronouns they, them, and we're going to go around and everyone's going to give a quick introduction and just say the name of the character that they're playing. But don't even tell
Cool.
us anything about the specific character. Just there we go.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Sean, pronouns he, him. And I play Atticus Phoenix, who is also he, him.
I guess that makes me next because Leah is not here.
Yes.
Hi, I'm June. I play Nyx Loon, and both of our pronouns are she, they.
Wow, I guess I was just informed that it's me and not Tyler. Hi, I'm Q, and I play Vox, pronouns she, her.
Hey, my name's Tyler. I usually
Oh, you're cutting.
You are mute.
Mm-hmm. You weren't at the very beginning, and then it cut. So maybe it is on. Maybe it is on Q's.
Is that better?
Yep. Now,
Yes.
now you're crystal clear.
Okay, I was exclusively on Q's mic before, so
Fantastic.
forget that sound check. Ordinarily I play Peren, but for reasons, Peren's not here, so I will be playing a character named Yorj,
Okay.
who is he, him,
And-
they, I think, actually.
Okay. With that being said, we're going to pick up where we left off last time. The last time we checked in on everyone, when you were all together, Perrin had left the group to responding to we'll say it's the call of a certain fay tree planted above the small village of No Blossom Falls. Atticus, you followed Perrin up there, only to have an emotional conversation with him that was punctuated by his sudden disappearance. Following that, Perrin had a conversation with his adoptive father, or castress. Words were exchanged, a gift was given, and Perrin walked through a door in the wall of a cliff. In the door, meeting an entity that Perrin had encountered before, he offered a gift, but not the one that he'd been given by his father. Or maybe I should say a different gift that he'd been given by his father, because the gift that he offered was the very memory of his father. And after that gift was given, the entity leaping on the image of his father to devour the memory of his father from the world whole. You stepped through a door. Peren. You stepped through the door. On the other side, you'd seen a house. Calm, peaceful, at dusk, in front of a pond. But as you step through the door, something is wrong. The house still seems far away, and around you is a swirling void. Almost as if the cosmos was refracting back in on itself infinitely in every direction. And as you take steps down this corridor, your footsteps echoing back and forth and out and above and below. The vision of the house begins to grow smaller, but you're approaching a door on the other end of the corridor quicker. A few more steps and you'll be there. Amos sits on your shoulder. I think, Peren, something's wrong. Peren, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
I think, oh, I rolled an 11. I'm sorry, I rolled a 9. I have a +2. I actually think I get, oh, never mind. I don't have those yet. I think I get a bonus to that, but I don't actually have it yet. So never mind. Ignore me.
Okay. An 11. On an 11, something, you feel it in you, is deeply wrong. Fractured, almost like the images of the cosmos that swirl around you in this corridor. You feel out of place, ungrounded, almost cast out of space and out of time. You go to step through the doorway. Your foot makes contact with the cool white stone. On the far end of this room is a portrait with that house that you were looking at. It's massive, probably 8 feet tall, more vertical than it is horizontal. Around you, you're in a high ceilinged room. Aside from this picture of the house of what you believe is the House of Dusk on the far end, there's nothing around you except a door to your left and a door to your right. You barely have time to collect your thoughts and figure out when you are or where you are when the door to your left slams open. Atticus, if you could describe your character for me.
Yeah, so you see a tall man, 6'11", regal golden armor with dark maroon tapestry and a cape with a almost comically large sword on his back. He is clean shaven, curly blonde hair, and he has a look of annoyance on his face. More looks like he's just mad already from first look.
I have to not look at Tyler because Tyler's reactions right now are making me break, so I just have to focus on everyone else.
What is going on?
Atticus, as you step into the room, you look over. You see what looks to be some sort of light blue skin, traveler's cloak, small yellow bird perched on the shoulder, hair swept to the side. Certainly, this would not be the first time that you've encountered a strange person in the rooms of the Dreadspire. But here you are. Directly behind you, also about to step in the room, Vox, if you could describe your character for us.
Vox steps into the room, hair very kind of put together, but a little unruly, much longer than it was before, dark and flowing, wrapped in her leather rogue attire, but also sporting some additional armor with a bunch of little compartments to hold many different daggers that she holds at her side. And in the center of her chest is the Loon Stone that she never removes. Dark makeup, dark hair, looking a little bit irritated with following this light-skinned elf around for much longer than she would have preferred.
The two of you step into the room. From behind you, your guide also enters the room. Immediately, their eyes lock into the only other person in the room, the only person not part of the group you're currently all in, as she locks eyes with you, Peren. You see a tall figure, fairly broad shoulders, strong arms. She's wearing a dark, it's hard to tell if it's black or just this impossibly dark shade of green, but it's wrapped around her body in such a way as to, I think, hide various, what look to be trophies, because there are some of these trophies hanging on the outside. You see a belt with various sized small skulls, teeth, claws hanging off of it. More than several necklaces that all hold their own little totems or trophies layered around her neck. Long, dark red, curling hair, and fierce, dark green eyes. Wow. I did not expect to see someone in this room. That is a surprise.
I mean, Atticus Vox, we are still in the tower then, after all this time. Who are you? Do I recognize this person?
Give me a perception check.
Fuck is that? And why is he talking to me?
I did
Not to give too much.
find anyone else in here.
Elijah, new character sheet or old character sheet?
For Peren, I
Yeah.
think in this moment I'm going to let you make the decision. I do think it seems to make more sense that it would be old Peren character sheet.
Yeah,
If you've got it.
I've got it. I didn't
Yeah.
expect to need it, but I've
Yeah.
got it. I just wanted to double check. I rolled way too much. 27.
A 27?
I get double proficiency on perception. Always. It's plus 10 to every perception.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna give you.
I mean, I'll roll lower if you want. I just went through something traumatic. If you want a lower roll,
No.
If you want something lower, give it to me at disadvantage. That's fine. I'll re-roll it.
It's fine. A 27 is fine. Let me just find exactly what I'm looking for over here. The first thing I think that you're noticing is, I mean, the trophies stand out. Again, various sizes of skulls, teeth, claws. Around the neck, you see two things that would be very familiar to you, as they are something that you once wore before. I believe in the past I think we've revealed that Balak took these things from you when Balak first found you, traveled here from the Feywild, you recognize the tooth and a claw of the Wallachria hanging around her neck. In addition to this, at her side, she carries, just kind of slung at her side, there is a book. It looks smaller against her figure than it ever did against Maury's. But hanging next to the book, you see a small, halfling-sized skull. In addition, tucked away in the robes, you catch, as she's turning just for a moment, a glimpse of a black horn cut off, carved out intricately. You can almost see glyphs that have been etched into the side of it. You take all these trophies, these totems in an instant, and you come back to the face. The long hair, a little bit almost like fauna, but something different, darker, not fauna. This looks like Flora, if Flora had ever had the chance to grow up as a human.
Peren kind of takes in all of these differences and kind of like everybody's posture being different. The doors having opened the way they are. I think he even just smells the air and kind of gives a nod. He didn't really know why. In fact, thinking back, he can't remember why he thought it was a good idea to walk through. But for some reason, he felt certain that he needed to walk through and bargained for something. And at this point, he kind of realizes that he's A, in the tower, and B, that this is not the tower that he's been in before. And he thinks back to, weeks ago / like a year ago, in that confrontation with Amon, talking about saving his partner and playing with the fabric of reality. And I think he makes the kind of intuitive leap to understand that these are both the people he knows and also not at all the people he knows. So he makes a choice really quickly and gives a little bit of a bow and says, yeah, my apologies. Just taking it back there for a moment. You all looked a little familiar to some people I've met once or twice. You know how names stick in your head sometimes. I don't know if you ever have that before, but you all look a little familiar. Can I guess? Is it Vox, Atticus, and Flora there? And he's trying to bluff his way through this, but her name catches in his throat.
Go ahead and do two things. Make me a deception check.
Icky dicky.
And make me an insight check. Any one of either Atticus or Vox, if you want to make an insight check on this, you're welcome to.
Insight is 22. Deception is dirty 20.
Okay. So in order to clock that anything is what it is, you'd have to get a 20 or higher on your insight.
Yeah, that didn't happen. Atticus hears us and he goes, well,
I'm so sorry.
I hope you would have heard of my name.
I did roll a nat 20 insight.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, Vox.
Of course Vox did. Of course it was Vox.
You see recognition in Peren's eyes, and you see him catch himself.
Is Vox paranoid? Surprise!
This fucking tower and these fucking people in here. What do you want? How do you know us? Clearly, most people do, but you here now seems convenient.
Right. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
That's
fair.
fair.
Hey, tell
Lie
me.
to me one more time, and you will catch a dagger in your throat.
Right.
Vox, why don't we just skin him and not waste time with this feeble person?
Uh,
Right.
the
Make
character that you
very
know
nice
is
leather.
yeah. Oh God, the character that you know, Atticus and Vox, only as the Grim Hunt, raises her hand. Not this one. There's something about him. Uh, she's going to approach you, Peren. What did you call me?
Well,
On
I
your
know I
insight,
wish I
on your
hadn't
yeah, on your insight check,
said
I'll give it to you
anything.
before you give your response. This person is intrigued by you. When you say the word floor, there's no recognition in their eye, but there is something. It's almost like 22 insight's pretty good. It feels like you're saying something to them that they had a dream of and they're trying to remember it, but they can't. Um, they approach you, yeah, and they're now just a few feet away from you, staring at you in the eyes.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So
let me
let me
clarify.
clarify.
Did y'all get like letters or writings or something that told you to come to a tower and like there's gonna be riches and shit?
You think I want for riches and would follow the commands of a letter?
Right.
I thought
Okay.
you knew who we were, boy.
Right. I mean, okay, so let me clarify that point just a little bit. I know an Atticus of the Phoenix is, and I know of. Tell you what, I mean, I'm not trying to trick you anymore. Maybe this will help you at least believe that I've met people very like you, and yet I'm realizing very different than you. It's a very magical talisman you have around your neck, and it has a little like shadow elf who like lives inside of it and comes out and kills people and shit with like the moon. She kills people with the moon. Is that a thing?
I think this man knows too much, and I do think
Atticus
leather
is
would
gonna
be
go to
beautiful.
grapple him.
Jesus.
Just hold him. Hold him down.
I don't think I resist.
Okay. Yeah, if there's no resistance, then you don't need to make a check for it. You
Yeah.
you pin him, no problem.
No,
No,
cool. That's fine.
That's fine.
Have any of
Rock-
you died yet?
Fox is gonna pull out the tongue and just start twirling the tongue
The
through
tongue?
her fingers.
What do you mean?
Um,
See, friend, you're talking like you know me and my associates, but all I've heard is you don't know a damn thing about us. So, unless you're gonna offer actual valuable information, I
I
suggest
think
you
you
shut
should
up.
all take a breather and pay attention to the person who said no, not him, because she's the one in charge, isn't she? And he's gonna look back and forth, and I'm gonna roll intimidation.
Fox is gonna cackle at
Sorry,
the
nat 20
idea.
intimidation.
I mean, the Grim Hunt does look at both of you as if to doesn't say anything, but just gently touches your shoulder, Atticus.
Hey,
That was
hey,
a nat
you
20
know,
plus 7 intimidation.
I'm just trying to protect our interests. You know.
I
My
understand
interest is
perfectly.
only one. This is extra baggage. Let's tear him to pieces and continue on our way.
You've made perfectly clear what your desires are, but I believe your desires are simply those of your masters, and your masters told you to follow me. because without me, you won't make it out of this tower. And I say he's coming with us. I think he'll be useful.
Well, that's good because I made it out of this tower.
That's not to say he can't come with us, just in pieces, or maybe lacking a few that he already has.
I do need a new squad.
Just one piece, and I'll leave this be. Just
I
let
don't-
me get a piece of him.
I don't know,
Yeah.
Vox. I need a new squire, and you kind of tore up the last one, so maybe go easy on this one. He could carry our things.
I'll tell you what.
They touched my hair too closely. They deserve to lose both their hands, and their legs were just, fun.
Yeah, not really good for much. All right, and Atticus is gonna he's back up a little bit
back
more
up.
and be like I'd rather be at the tavern in town drinking. So where do we go from here?
So let me repeat myself. Have any of you died yet?
I will give you DM information for the three of you. You have not yet in this place.
You're gonna have
Just
to be
because she said
more specific with me.
you can come does not mean you get to continue asking me questions.
Are you just unable to understand questions? You just cut the tongue out of everything that dares say anything to you?
Vox is going to throw a dagger. Not in a vital point, but I'm going to go ahead and throw a dagger. I guess, yeah, the tongue was already in her hand. She lacks a little self-control.
Yeah, make an attack roll.
Can I?
Does it help at all that Peren was expecting her to do that?
I mean, we'd still get to make an attack roll. If you had a reaction, certainly you could use a reaction to it. But it would have to be like a reaction.
Give me 1 second. Okay, I just had to equip. That was the wrong die. That is a 21 to hit.
Peren, what is your AC?
Lower than that.
What? Tell me what it is.
15.
So even a shield won't help. Okay. The dagger. What's the damage?
So the damage is that he must make a wisdom saving throw of a DC 13 or be affected as though by the suggestion spell.
Okay.
And then obviously normal damage for that too. So let me roll that.
Yeah.
I pass.
Okay.
I passed the wisdom saving
Okay,
throw.
cool.
I nat 20 that too.
Okay. I will say in this moment you then I God, what can I give you? I mean, I think
I do 6 damage to him also.
Okay, cool. So it is going to do.
Can I have rolled back and taken it even lighter than she intended?
I think you're still going to take the full 6 damage. We can flavor. I mean, 6 damage isn't a whole lot for you, so we can flavor it. You are able to kind of it makes a flesh wound. I am going to say that on a nat 20 on the wisdom save, that you could not be affected again by this particular method of casting suggestion, like by the tongue. You won't be able to be affected by it again for the next 24 hours. I think a nat 20 warrants that. I will immediately as this happens, Peren, I don't know if you have something that you're doing in response to it too, but the Grim Hunt. Cool.
I can do it after. He'd probably do it slowly.
Okay, cool. I mean, the Grim Hunt responds to this by you see her raise a hand like this, there is a crackle in the air, and in the center of the room, striking down, is just a massive blinding bolt of lightning that then thunders out through the room. It's not going to strike anyone. It does come closest to you, Vox, as you feel the flash, the intense flash of heat from it. No pieces.
Yes, no pieces. And Vox walks over to Peren and yanks it out.
When Vox gets close, Perrin's gonna lean just like with that pole, and he is going to whisper, but at the same time casting suggestion. I know the things that you regret, and you will regret doing that again.
Vox is going to take the dagger and lick his blood off of it.
You need to throw a wisdom saving throw.
That's fine. That's an 18.
What is my spell DC?
19, because if I get my bonus +1.
How does this spell work?
Usually it's 8 plus your proficiency plus your wisdom if it's
Just
a ranger
okay.
spell.
It is my casting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That passes.
Vox licks the blood off the dagger and looks you in the eye. Lay a hand on me or come near, and it won't be me who takes it. And she turns her back and walks.
All right, this is getting. We're having a little too much fun here, but it's time we get to what we were supposed to do here. What's your name? Who are you?
Me.
Obviously you know who I am.
My name is Peren Meliamne. I am the living, immortal heir of the Fey realm, the one and only ruler of that existence. I don't fear your threats, and I don't fear death, for I have died many times. And Peren smiles, and it is not where Peren was a few weeks ago. Or weeks, not his weeks.
Atticus is gonna lean in.
That's all sounds fancy. But if you're talking about living and dying and coming back to life and reincarnation, you better get in fucking line.
And he's gonna lean back and I'm gonna roll intimidation on that.
Yeah.
That is a 19 on intimidation.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just-
Peren,
what
you
do
can
I-
roll,
what
you
do I
can roll
add?
a wisdom save.
Wisdom save or charisma save? Wisdom.
Wisdom save, yeah. Because that's what you'd roll against fear.
16.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you get a... tell me, does Atticus openly wear the black feather earrings?
Mm-hmm.
Peren, you see a glint come from 5 black feather earrings pierced through the ears of a different Atticus, certainly, from the one that you left, honestly, just minutes ago. So the group kind of recenters themselves. The Grim Hunt looks to you, Peren. I want to test something. You. Go over to that door. Open it.
Across. This is like a T-shaped hallway.
You're just in a room right now. The door that they came through is on the left. There's only one other door in here on the right. Yeah.
But that's not how Peren got here.
It is not how Peren got here, and you see that she is actually, like, pointing to the one that they just came out of.
Right. Okay. Peren crosses over, and he's gonna reach out a hand and just get a vibe check on this door.
Give
It
me
feels
an
like a door or
yeah.
not.
Give me an Arcana check.
15.
15. You go to reach for the door. It has been a long time since you were or I don't know. Maybe you're not sure now. But
Maybe I've always been there.
Maybe you've always been here. Something feels different than you remember it feeling going to open it. There is, as you reach for the door, you feel a magnetism that you had not felt before. And it is almost like in a dream when you go to reach for something and the instant before you grasp it, it becomes something else. You reach for the handle of this door and it is almost as though you can feel on the other side it becoming something else. You turn the handle.
Yeah.
It's not locked.
He
It
opens
can open.
it.
You open it.
Does it push open or in?
It pushes in to the room.
He's going to shove it and take a big step back.
Cool. You shove it and take a big step back. I'm going to make a roll real quick just to see. Okay. As you open the door, on the other side, Atticus, Vox, and I think in this version, Nyx, almost pressed up against what seems to be a dark glass looking through from the Lunestone. See a very different room from the one that, honestly, the room that you just came from looked a lot like this. You've spent the last few days wandering on a labyrinth, occasionally encountering people. And there have been large rooms, small rooms, traps, monsters, all manner. You haven't seen anything like this yet. As the door opens, before you is a massive cavern extending hundreds of feet down below, hundreds of feet above, and wide expanses to either side. There are narrow, winding pathways with precipices on either side that drop off into the, you would hope, some sort of bottom to this cavern. It is pocked with torchlight. You see most of them very much in the distance, but small figures, groups of them gathered around the torchlight. You hear the echoes of pickaxes and shovels as they are digging into the walls, the floors of this cavern. The Grim Hunt. So, now we begin in earnest. All right, well, it looks like we've found the key. Vox, if you could bring out your other half. I think we're going to be needing everyone to be on guard now.
Should
More bloodshed it is, and Vox is going to touch her fingers to the Lunestone with just this glee on her face.
Okay.
should I bring the lights down for Dance in the Moonlight?
It would be good. And,
Atticus is going to cast Control Flame and snuff all the firelight within range.
Okay, that is probably going to be the first couple torches. You just hear cries ring out of, who turned off as the little groups of figures gathered around the torchlight begin scurrying around in the darkness. Nyx, as you emerge from the Lunestone, if you could describe your character for us.
Nyx comes out, and they're dressed much the same as the armor that Peren at least would recognize, and same golden eyes, same face that you would recognize. The probably starkest difference is that for the first time, their hood is down, and you can see them in their entirety, and they have natural curly dark hair. Half of it is braided back close across their scalp. And probably same face you'd recognize, same everything. But the biggest difference is just their entire, from side of the face down to their neck, is lined in layers and layers and layers of scars, and some of it look like caused by a dagger, nicks, and deep cuts. Others look almost like stretch marks and like tears, almost from like fingers gripping and pulling. And they are varying ages. Some are old and faded and healed over all wrong, and others seem maybe probably about like a year or so old. But none recent and none open. And the largest of which is one across their entire jugular. In what was a clear either assassination or suicide attempt. And their ears, what would be elf ear points, are roughly and what looks like very painfully mutilated back to be something that's almost like more, I don't want to say human, but because it's shorter and almost like clobbered over like what's it, cabbage ear. But yeah, they come out and instantly look towards Fox. What's wrong? You woke me up early. Are we here already?
Apparently this one is the key, and this one is on my short list of hands I want to add.
one is
Apparent, not
new.
apparently.
Just apparent.
Singular.
We've been told to leave him whole and not take pieces yet.
Told. And
My-
Max is going to look towards Flora
One.
or Grimhunt.
It's every time. It's a good bit of magic, that locket. Yes, don't. This one's going to come in very useful. We're going to get where we're going a lot quicker if we let him open the doors.
You see, the issue now is quite annoying already, and I want nothing more to leather his skin. It wouldn't be lovely, wouldn't it? Look at it.
Oh no,
You could make
you
an
said
excellent sheath
annoying.
for your daggers, but
I don't have
in
my
this
loot.
case, I think I might agree with our lovely guide here. We can have our fun later, but if he's a tool, if he's useful, might as well wreak what we can from him, and then who knows?
Well, if you say so, we'll leave him for now.
It's you might even say that you have to leave me alone because I'm so adorable. Worth it.
I'm starting to see what you mean.
You all go through the door. As you go through the door, Peren, you have already stepped in.
Yeah.
As everyone else steps in, you can go ahead and give me perception checks in this place. You're entering a new space. Get an appraisal of what's going on more than I've described.
Peren, anytime from now on out that I perceive anything, I'm clearly not going to tell anyone. Just to be clear.
21.
That was a nat 20 on perception, which is also plus 10, so full 30.
Ooh,
Okay.
dirty 20 for me.
Okay.
21.
Okay, we got a dirty 20, 21, and then what's Vox?
Oh, Fox is just going to be a 15. She's very, very
Okay.
busy just eyeing Perrin up and down, thinking
Cool.
about the satchels she wants to make out of his skin.
Oh, God. Be careful what you ask for, I guess, is the moral of the story for me when you ask for dark characters or dark variants of everyone's character.
If you didn't know what was going on by now.
Wait.
Okay.
Really?
20. The
This felt
20
very normal.
20, aside from Peren 21 being the highest, you see everything Peren saw when you opened the door. You are in a massive cavern. There's a lot of different paths you could take in this, some more precarious than others. Most of these paths are tending to lead, though, to what looks like it might be the center point of the cavern. A lot of them are blocked by this large kind of almost jutting tower of rock in the center, and they wind around. Far in the distance, a lot farther than you could have controlled the light from Atticus, there is a glow coming from there that looks to be either an immense collection of torches or some massive bonfire, some sort of central light that is illuminating this cavern a little more than just the individual torches that are all these little dig sites. It looks like there is a path that perhaps skirts its way around and does not go through the center. It kind of just, hundreds and hundreds of feet away, it just sort of disappears into darkness, but it is not headed towards the center where the other paths are. I think the 20s are good enough too. You can see some of the figures that are closer now have, relit their torches. And you can kind of hear them like barking orders to each other in the distance. There looks to be at least some sort of hierarchy, like maybe there's like a little boss at all these dig sites, but they look to be a collection of small, just kind of very small gray trolls. Just these goblin-esque creatures, large bug eyes, some of them having longer whiskers, pointy ears. They're at once very, very small, and then at the same time too large for their height, which sort of gives them this grotesque and yet at the same time strangely adorable appearance. And they are fumbling around these different dig sites. The path that goes far to you would skirt around all these groups, or you can just take one of the paths that appears to head towards the center, but you will end up going by some of these dig sites.
Atticus is looking at the fires and he's like smiling and kind of like swaying with like what he sees the flames going, and he's like, we're going near that, right? It's time to. And he's like talking to himself, and he just kind of like starts walking that way.
Cool. Yeah, the Grim Hunt doesn't say anything. She's gonna follow in your steps behind you towards the center.
Peren's gonna fall into step, like kind of as close to the
Cool.
grim dark that he can get to.
Yeah, the Grim Hunt is, I think.
Grim Hunt.
I don't know actually if any.
The edgy girl.
Yeah, the edgy ed. Yeah. Peren, on your nat 20, I would assume that you take the back as you see several steps forward on the path. What looks to be a small plate in the rock of the path that looks pressure sensitive.
Ooh. Oh boy. Wait, am I in the back or am I being guarded? Are there people behind me?
No one's. You can take
Nyx would not let him be in the backpack. Nyx is going to be behind him.
Okay. But Atticus is taking the. I mean, in fact, Peren, unless you shout out, which I'm going to say you have to decide right now, because Atticus's next step is going to bring, as in the front, is going to bring him right down in that pressure plate.
If you don't mind holding on 1 second.
Vox is following behind Atticus, walking, like imitating his walk, just swaying and imitating the Atticus walk, kind of taking very large steps.
Right on the floor there. Atticus.
With his help, Atticus, you can see it. You're about to step right down on a pressure plate in the floor.
No, I'm not saying.
Can I investigate it?
Yeah.
To see what it might.
Yeah, make an
Be a
investigation
trap
check.
for.
I've been incinerated in some caverns and rooms in this building before, so
16.
On a 16, I guess you get down, eye level with it, look to one side, to the other. Nearby in an outcropping of rock, you see a small jet. You sniff the air. Sulfurous. Like a match that's been lit recently.
Atticus is gonna smirk and he's gonna look at Vox and say,
Would you kindly just take a few steps back?
Oh, but what is it? What do
I-
you see there?
You're gonna like it. You're gonna like what
Oh,
you see.
yes, yes.
And
And she
then
takes a couple steps back.
Atticus is gonna step on it.
You step on it. Atticus, I'm assuming that you're just going to opt to fail the dex save.
Yep.
Cool. You are going to take... Okay. You are going to take 32 points of fire damage, halved to 16. All of you, including you,
And-
Peren, just see fire erupt from the outside.
And Box is just behind, just yes,
Yeah.
bastard.
Atticus, do you want to describe to everyone what they see as the flame?
Yeah, you see it like as it hits Atticus, it kind of swirls up into the air, and his armor is like red from the fire, and then it swirls just immediately into the sword on his back. Then the sword looks hot.
Wow, he looks really hot.
Atticus, you were right. I did like that. Again, do it again.
Well, I don't want to spoil all the fun.
We can have this one go on it. And Nyx is going to push Peren forward a little bit.
Okay. The lot of you continue down the path. As you're continuing down the path, Peren, I need you to make me another wisdom saving throw. But you can do this one with advantage. As Amos whispers in your ear. This is bad, right?
I mean, contextually, it seems rough.
Yeah. Okay.
But, like, they didn't really like me much before either. So, like... Are you alright?
Yeah, I feel strange. I don't know. I think I'm gonna mostly try and stay quiet. I think maybe it will work in our favor if they think I'm just a regular bird.
Yeah, alright.
Okay. What's the wisdom save?
Does Nyx recognize Amos at all?
Give me a perception check.
$11.
No, just a little yellow bird.
Just a bird.
Technically, Amos has physically changed, too, from when Amos was a songbird to when Amos became the mockingbird. So it's mainly the song that would be recognizable than the appearance.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, Peren kind of keeps trying to catch up with the supposed perhaps Flora, and he's just kind of like side-eyeing her and like trying not to let his heart feel feelings.
Yeah. What was
So
the wisdom
what-
save?
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's
16
okay.
plus 2, 18.
Okay, cool. Mostly for now, that strange gnawing, hollowing feeling that you had when you were coming through the door is dissipated. This is definitely taking... What is going on right now is taking all of your attention to adjust to the new set of circumstances. Go ahead. As you are heading down this path, you're going to come. I mean, the paths narrow and widen. Again, on either side, most of the time it is a drop off a precipice into a yawning void that goes who knows how many hundreds of feet down. But there are places where the path widens to make a much larger space. And as you approach one of those, there is a small group of these little trolls just kind of digging into the side of the mountain. I have to ask, is the group trying to move in stealth? There is torchlight down here, but as you're approaching, you're still in what would be considered dim light. If you're not trying to make a stealth, they're definitely going to see you there's not a lot of space to move around them.
I'm not going to make that decision. I am going to say that Nyx is going to come up behind Vox and arms around the back of her neck and kind of leaning against her shoulder and in her ear and whisper, "Do we get to kill these ones? Can we torture them for information?"
Fucking hope so, Nyx. It is just curling in my blood. I wasn't able to take a part of him, but I can take them fully apart.
I mean, they have to know where we're supposed to go, right? They have to know something on what we're looking for. Right?
Absolutely. I need a complete
what do you say? Maybe a little bit of blood, please.
The Grim Hunt's not going to say anything. She's walking in stride with you, but as you come closer and the path widens, she sort of takes, goes to not move to the back, but just kind of far to the side of all of you to keep an eye on things. But if you're not stealthing, Atticus, with you still in the lead too, kind of freshly singed. One of these little gray bug-eyed trolls, with some stubbly whiskers growing in, is gonna look up at you.
What are you doing in this cave?
Atticus isn't even gonna say anything. He's just gonna
Boss, hold off on the dig.
he's gonna look at all these trolls and he's gonna kind of lean down and he's like,
I have something to tell. I was sent here to tell all of you something. Gather around real quick.
Make me a little persuasion check.
At this point, Nyx is going to try and stealth in the shadows.
That's
cool. Make that stealth check for me.
19 on persuasion.
On the 19 persuasion check, this little group of you'd see what appears to now maybe be the foreman looks over to the rest. There's I'm going to say there's we'll roll 2d4 right now. There are eight other little trolls here. He looks over. They come up to on you, Atticus, just past your belt buckle. Foreman looks over.
Oh, gather around, lads. Got a secret, he does. Go on then.
Very 20.
They don't see you
I
disappear.
was sent by an important person to tell all of you that there's a natural gas leak in here and you're all in danger.
Oh, you gas leak. I thought we got rid of the last of them. Well, put the torch out, boys. Torch is out.
You see one of them immediately snuffs the torch.
Oh, gas leak. This is bad. Oh, we best tell all the other groups. I can't have a gas leak in a cavern like this. You can only imagine how much it would fill. And
I'm afraid it's a little more complicated than that, friend. Because it's too late for all of you.
And he's gonna cast where is it? Burning hands.
Fuck me. Dark Atticus is terrifying.
And I'm gonna cast that at a second level.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. They're caught totally off guard. You're doing this this is fully.
Oh, for attack. That's a 19 on the attack, which it's not crit because am a different class,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna assume that hits.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah, I mean, yeah, let's be straight about that. These are just a bunch of small trolls digging in the rock. They're equipped only to dig, and
Okay.
they're not even very good at that.
Okay. Well, it's a 15-foot cone. So how many are in that? It's 22 damage, and I'm gonna pour that plus 15 from the halved fire damage into
Oh
that
my god.
to
Okay,
make
hold on.
that 37.
I'm gonna roll a luck check real quick to see if they're. No, I don't have to. He gathered them all over specifically to like get in close and hear the secret that you had to say.
I would like to say that Vox has snatched one of them and is just gripping one of them and watching, holding her hand over its mouth. I can
Yeah, I
roll if
think
you need me to.
it's so shocked. Yeah, make me an athletics roll real quick, and this thing is gonna contest you, but it's gonna do so with disadvantage. It's
17.
okay. It's even with advantage. The lowest roll was a 16, but this thing gets +0 to that roll. So yeah, you grab it, hand over its mouth. Its eyes go wide as it watches Atticus. Gone. They're the. Why don't you tell me what it looks like? You just iced 8 of these little guys.
I feel like it should come out of your hands like wings, like a diving bird.
Well, when I'm gonna say when he was like it's too late, he had his hands on the first troll's face, and then he just blasted it out. And all you see is like immediate flame to just ash falling, like ash in the air. And it smells pretty awful.
Say, burning troll, not a good smell. Atticus, the rest of you just see just like there's barely even any ash left as it just sort of like drifts to the ground in the still air of the cavern. You are holding just what is now just the blackened skull of the troll that with a blast of the word, like the back is shattered open where the rest of the fire came out.
Atticus just looks at it and just lets it crumble in his hand. He's like, I always hated trolls. They remind me of giants. And he's going to keep walking.
Vox is going to whisper into the remaining troll's ear that she's holding. Do you want to be saved? Do you know anything about the Ord break?
Make me an intimidation check with advantage for sure.
What was the word?
The Ord break.
25.
God. Cool. 25 is really good. I'm going to make an adjustment here. The troll nods.
Where is that little troll?
Are you still holding it?
She's gonna release it.
Well, it's that's what we're all looking for, you see. Grandfather, he misplaced it. He did, and we're just trying to find where he left it. Sometimes he's very forgetful, Grandfather.
Somewhere near then.
If you let me I can help you. I'll come with you, and we can talk to all the other trolls and find out what they've found. But we've been looking a very long time and have not had any luck yet.
With that being said, just knowing that that's what they're looking for and it's near, Vox is going to unsheath one of the daggers and slit its throat.
Yeah, make an attack roll. With advantage. You're grappling this thing. Still.
Is Nick still stealth wandering around?
Yeah, I mean they didn't see you disappear into shadow.
Stealthed, but not wandering around.
That hits for sure. You can go ahead and roll damage.
7.
On a 7, it just looks at you. No time really to change his expression. One of like hopeful, maybe I can talk my way out of. No. It just goes dead in the eye. And
Fox smiles and just drops it and steps on it as she walks over it.
I don't know. I think that was a little melodramatic, Vox. I mean, at least
You
I
burnt them all. That wasn't very fair. I only took one.
I mean, look at the scoreboard, and I had them on the. Well, you had them on the hook too. I'll give you that. You are very cunning.
Peren, you got a nat 20 on your perception check when you went into this room. In the gleam of fire when it erupted out of Atticus and through the group of trolls, in the deep blackness of the void on either side of the path, as the intense flame lit it up, you see a gleam from far, far below. Looks to be some type of circular pedestal, immaculately polished, some type of like black, maybe iron, but it's too smooth seemingly to be iron, catches the light and gives almost a reflection back, even though it is hundreds of feet down there. And in that reflection and the light reflecting off down there, you see a small, on that same pedestal, you see a like what looks to, I mean, from this distance it's very small, but a black anvil, and maybe just if for an instant something lying on top of that anvil.
I mean, that doesn't seem very important. So, Peren's just kind of like standing there where all these maniacs are murdering trolls, and he's just going to be trying to like make small talk with the Grim Hunt. And while he's kind of clocking that down below, he's going to be like, well, I mean, yeah, it's like, it's kind of weird, right? Like you walk through one, like, why would you put a desert on the 13th floor? You know, like it's not the right floor. It's the wrong vibes. You know, you want that at like an even number, like a 4, a 6, an 8, something like that. See what I mean?
I understand what you're getting at with the architecture. I think you might be missing the larger point. I have to tell you, this is not my first time in the Dreadspire either. You seem to know a lot about this place without knowing anything about it at all. What do you know?
Oh, I mean, it's like this wizard made it so that he could like save somebody's life and crossing over like different universes. It's fine. It's all normal. Somebody once said the word arcanochrome about it, but like I'm not really familiar.
Well, that is what it is. That paltry wizard at the top of this tower, I'm not sure they even begin to comprehend what it is they're channeling or sitting on here. It's certainly not their tower. Tell me, I'm assuming if you've been here before, you've encountered others who have been here before too. Did you ever ask them what their experience was?
I mean, just other people wandering through. I mean, yeah, I mean, I started here with one, well, with a few people, but everybody died except for one. And then I thought she died, but then she didn't die. And then I met up with some other people, and then we found her again because she didn't die. There was a camel. Yeah, I don't know. I got mind controlled when I was being brought here, so like, no big deal or anything. But like, I died a bunch. I was pretty good at it, you know.
I've wandered this tower in my dreams every night since I can remember.
Right.
And every time I open a door in my dream, it's just another room, just another pale stone dungeon, a jail that only folds in on itself. But before I came to the tower this time, I had a dream, and in it met someone that looked remarkably like you. And when they opened the door, well, it became a whole different kind of tower. So, I'm going to let you continue opening the doors, and we'll see if we get to the center of this thing a little quicker now.
Yeah, that's interesting that you had that dream, that someone that looked familiar to me. Feel like I've had a similar dream, just normal dreams, just of people you don't really know.
She's making an insight. That's on a. Ooh, hold on, that's really high. I want to find her modifier. Peren, on a dirty 20 on insight, does she see anything in you?
Yeah, I think Perrin's kind of chuckling nervously. And are there any torch? Is there light anywhere at this point? Like,
I think when
just, like,
Atticus lit
shadows
that
of
up,
light?
it brought the torch roaring back to life.
Yeah,
that was on the wall.
So I think he's got a bit of a 1,000-foot stare at the moment, and he's kind of doing this awkward chuckling. And as he does it, he glances over and gives a little bit of a hollow smile. And he says, "Yeah, I've got you. I'll always have you." And I think those words ring a bell, perhaps, or feel like another one of those dreams. Part of something that she heard in a dream once, and they are part of something that Peren said to a different Flora.
I want you to give me another insight check.
Keep having to flip back to my out-of-date character sheet.
You're welcome.
Didn't even think I'd have to touch paper today. Insight 18.
Yeah. You see what you saw before. somebody like trying to... Strange. I don't remember that dream. And I always remember my dreams. And she's going to turn, and the rest of the party's continuing down the path. The Grim Hunt is keeping up with you.
What was your insight roll?
It was a dirty 20.
Okay, then I think it's fair to say in Peren's kind of vibe right now, in his movements, I think she knows at this point right now, he's not going to leave her. I think he doesn't need to be guarded. He doesn't need to be threatened. He doesn't know what's going on, and that may change, but right now he's going to keep following her.
Cool. Well, let's see. Nyx, yours was really
I
high.
was gonna say, I rolled a 21 on perception. Can I say while stealthed, Nyx was overhearing this?
Yeah, because no one saw you. Like, you rolled high enough that including the Grim Hunt. Like,
yeah, I don't even think Peren's paying attention, so I'm
we've
not
already
even going to
revealed
roll
at this
against
point,
that.
even though the rest of the party knows her as the Grim Hunt. This was a reveal I didn't think it was going to happen, but 27 was right. I'm just going to call her Flora.
I mean, even
easier.
if she wasn't, I was going to keep calling her Flora because Peren's 100% convinced immediately no matter what.
Yeah.
Hey,
you for sure would have overheard all this.
Okay. Then Nyx, after this conversation breaks, is gonna once again almost just like materialize out of the dim torchlight and shadow next to Vox, and leaning elbow on their shoulder again as they walk in a whisper, like, I worry about our guide. They're getting a little too friendly with this newcomer.
Should have let me take them out when I had that opportunity, and instead you stopped me.
Well,
but that's okay. And she squeezes in closer to Nyx.
I stopped you because they're still useful, but just, we never knew our guide's true motives. We've always questioned it, and just keep an eye out.
Understood. Keep my eyes out. Keep hands to myself. Don't tear them to shreds. Don't kill that one. Were there any other rules?
Oh, you make me sound so boring, love. Come on, we'll still have fun. The last one, you let him off so easy.
Oh, but it was so fun to see hope in his eyes.
This is a really sweet and tender moment, but can we get a move on? We've been here for 5 days now. I have things to do.
I guess the tower's a little fun. Think of all the people that we're tearing up.
It is oddly populated, from what I remember. Mostly talking animals.
I think I remember that. I don't know. Yeah, it feels a
I'm
little
curious. What brought you to the
risk.
Dreadspire before?
Oh, mind control. Yeah, no, like an evil wizard mind controlled me here. It was great.
And you live to tell the tale. Impressive.
Oh yeah, I always do.
They can't all be like me who blesses down wizards at any chance they get.
As the party continues on, you are making your way down the path towards the center of this cavern. Getting around that one giant rock outcropping, the center comes into view, and you see not a bonfire, but lit by innumerable torches placed all up and down the face. You are coming to a center that is essentially, the path descends down to this enormous circular rock platform that rises up from the bottom of the cavern. And a wall on both sides. There is a path that extends beyond it, what looks like towards the opposite ends of the cavern, and several of those other paths that you saw but didn't follow meet here as well in the center. But again, just so many torches on and they are reflected back by the cliff walls too, so it is just this enormous tower of light almost in front of you, torchlight. And you see, I mean, most of the little dig sites that you saw have anywhere from like 5 to a dozen of those little trolls. There are about, we're going to say 30 or so here in the center. They're all kind of, you can see gathering, like offering what looks to be kind of all waiting in lines and coming up to offer reports to a troll that looks very similar but much larger than all the others, probably a good almost 7 feet tall. But again, that same sort of very like squat body where their features are much too large for their height, just as if they were condensed down. This particular troll has also a very long and illustrious set of whiskers that just descend almost directly from its nose and are like carefully braided and hang down to about its navel right there. It's just kind of wearing this dirty, scraggly loincloth like most of the other trolls, as it sits there in the center on a rock listening to the reports of all the different other little trolls that are coming up.
What is this main source of light? Is it just
It is just
huge
a
bonfire?
yeah. It's just a wall of torches, essentially. Yeah, I mean, there's at least 40 of these on the cliff wall behind, and they sort of like reflecting back on the rock, then are illuminating down too.
Atticus is going to look back to the group.
Do we want to make it darker in here, or scare the bejesus out of them by how bright we make it?
Nix, what do you think?
You always know I like it dark.
Oh, you heard her.
Yeah. Atticus again will use control flames to snuff the light out in the room.
And what's the range on that? Was it 120 feet?
It's 60 feet. It's six. The range is, well, let me check. Spells, I never play with them. You can choose. I can choose multiple. Okay. Yeah. Within. Yeah, 60 feet by 5 feet.
Okay. Here's what I will say. That's like the tallest ones would be a little out of that range. I'm going to say though that in this moment you go to snuff out the torches. In that instant as it goes from light to dark, anyone that's looking would see the silhouette of an enormous sort of hollowed out skeletal figure, black feathers, hollow eyes, long beak, maybe almost 12 feet, just looming, kind of
super
this
sexy
overlay on your body, Atticus, just for that instant when light goes to dark. And your control flames are empowered enough to every light goes out.
Taking Vox's hand and almost with like, as the lights go out, like 2 little girlish giggles, Vox and Nyx are going to both stealth.
Okay.
While before they stealth away, I'm gonna say,
Leave the one with the illustrious looking one for me. You can have the rest.
As you,
I got a nat
the
20 plus 10 on my stealth.
oh my god,
I got a 23 on my stealth.
Nice.
the two of you are gonna be absolute invisible. You can melt through this place. No one's going to spot you. As this happens and the lights go out, Peren, if you're back by Flora is going to reach out a hand to stop you. I'd hold back.
Okay.
They like to make things messy, and I find it's best just not to be involved.
Why are you involved then? What do they just help you get through shit?
She looks at you and smiles. They're handy in a pinch. Okay. I'm not going to make anyone roll initiative yet because even though the lights go out, none of these trolls know that. The lights went out. While gusts are not usual in the car, like you hear a couple of them like cry out in the darkness. But you hear kind of a murmur go out, and one of them is like, "Oh God, I just finished lighting all those doors," and no light left. I think a couple of you might have dark vision. If you do, you would see a troll, like a few trolls, like just start scraping on the ground, like this long ladder that they're carrying over to like put up against the wall to start the slow process of lighting torches again. As you begin to move down into the crowd, Atticus, are you moving into or are you kind of like staying on the outskirts? Oh shoot, you're muted.
You are very muted.
It's all good. I was just
Okay,
going in
there-
great detail
yep,
about stuff.
yep.
Atticus, to draw attention away from the party who left and to kind of put eyes on him, he's in his voice he's going to say,
Fear not, little ones. Fear not. I'm only here for one and one only.
God.
You.
Make me an intimidation check with advantage.
So the first one would be 13, but the second one would be a natural 20.
Okay. The trolls closest to where you like as you begin to walk among them, they look to you and they hear that. All of them just go absolutely quiet and just stone cold locked in place as they just watch you slowly approach the center in darkness. And I think
And Atticus is going to say, and if any of you get a wild thorn in your side, just know you're speaking to the Slayer of Salasa.
Okay, and that's where we're going to cut to our 10-minute break, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay. And we are back.
Criminals.
As you are Atticus approaching the center where the large troll is, Vox, Nyx, you are making your way through the darkness. What are you doing as you make your way through the dark? Like, what is happening as you make your way through this crowd? You're not spotted. Again, there's about 30 odd of these smaller trolls spread out, and then the big one that I believe you heard one of the earlier trolls refer to as grandfather is just sitting in the center. There was kind of a bit of a buzz when the torches went out, but now that a couple of these trolls have been assigned to go start relighting torches, which no lights have come back on yet. It takes a while to get that process started because the lowest torches are still a good 10 feet above the heads of the small trolls. It's mostly gone back to business. You hear a lot of trolls coming up and making reports on what they've found, which amounts to basically nothing. To
I think
grandfather,
Nyx
who is seated in the
is
center.
just like weaving in and out of the crowd and counting numbers, taking stock of weapons, kind of judging who would be a threat, but also almost playing with it a little bit, like just dancing on the edge of breaking out of their stealth. They're like kind of brushing past people and like almost hand over their head, or like every once in a while they'll like blow and kind of like tussle hair, but it, you can't tell if it's just like a draft in the cave or something.
God.
And just playing with things and like brushing against clothing lightly with fingertips. And
Yeah, go ahead and make me a perception check. A lot of these little trolls are going to be kind of like, they look about and then sort of refocus their attention on whatever it is that they were doing.
19.
On a 19, you assess the situation. Again, there's about 30 of these little trolls down here, and then the big one in the center. None of them are armed. I mean, some of them have pickaxes, shovels, things like that. But you see none of them are carrying like true weapons. None of them are wearing armor. They're all wearing like simple little loincloths or tunics that go down lower to about their knees. They're all just like the others. They're not prepared for battle. They're just here to dig. As you... Yeah, I have to do it. I think as you approach one, there's a couple up here that are actually like digging around in this space too, and you see one of the small trolls who is digging, looks up and goes, "I don't want to dig anymore. I'm tired, Grandpa." And the large troll in the center looks over. "That's too damn bad. Keep digging."
He said the thing. He said the thing.
I have to.
What are we? Some kind of castle run?
Yeah, that's what you get on your perception check. This is not a... You're all level 8. I'll give it to you. Like, you could mop them up. It's a little bit harder to get. I mean, no weapons on grandfather in the center. He is a lot bigger than the others, so would potentially pose a little bit more of a challenge. But on a 19 perception, you don't see anything that alarms you about his... I mean, he's not bigger than Atticus.
Nyx is going to leave the first strike for Vox.
Cool.
Yeah, Vox does not have the same kind of composure as Nyx. She's very one-track mind, and that is blood. And even though she is making her way up to the big one, weaving in and out, if she gets close to any, she is going to pull them in and cover their mouths and slit their throats. That's just what she would do.
Okay. I'm gonna say that I'm just gonna roll. We're gonna do this a little bit differently than start, because those stealth checks were so good. I'm just gonna let them ride in this instance. It's only a 2 on the D8. I think without drawing any suspicion to yourself, you're able to get a hold of 2 and quickly dispatch of them in this way without raising any kind of alarm. You're down to 28 trolls now. And you and Nyx are sort of at the point now to where you are flanking Grandfather on either side. If that is how you want to be set up, if you want to be flanking.
Oh yeah.
Peren, if you stayed with Floor, you were back at the outskirts. I mean, you're not a distance away that you couldn't help if need be, but you're here at the outskirts of the platform that you're on. Atticus, you stride straight to the center. At this last point, I think you would actually have to physically part a few of these smaller trolls out of the way to approach Grandfather.
Atticus kind of go even that they're in their way, he kind of like snarls at them to move out of the way.
Something out there in the dark. Doesn't smell like troll. What are you? Food?
I was thinking you were more food for my blade. But if you're helpful, maybe that doesn't have to happen.
You can make this an intimidation check if you want. I think it's intimidation much more than persuasion. And go ahead and do it with advantage because you rolled that nat 20. And like the other all the small trolls are still visibly quite terrified.
That's a dirty 20.
Okay.
Didn't Atticus just announce himself? Shouldn't Grandfather know there's something that's not a troll? Because it was like, chill the fuck out and leave me alone, and I won't kill you. And he's like, must be the wind.
Well, I think he would think he was further away when he said that to the trolls on the outskirts to start parting his path. Oh god, that's you see that Grandfather is a lot of bluff and bluster, and as his I think the first couple torches are relit now, but it's just a couple torches out of dozens and dozens of torches, so it's very, very dim light just kind of now here directly in this space around you and Grandfather. Atticus, as you say this, you spring into his vision just on the edges of it, and he sees you. Grandfather's a lot of bluster, and mostly gets to do what he wants because he's bigger than all the other trolls. He sees someone as big as he is who means business, and immediately cowers down, and he's still sitting but just sort of leans back on one hand.
Helpful by help you, and perhaps yes, can be very helpful. I've been here a long time.
Atticus is gonna put an arm on his arm and just kind of rub it and be like, take a breath. In through the nose,
immediately
out through the mouth.
stops breathing completely altogether. Just
Atticus is like, he'll go, breathe.
You're right. It's nice. It's calming. Yes. Thank you. Any way I can maybe help.
We're gonna play a little game.
Okay, game.
You tell me what you know, and if I like the answer, then I'll leave. But if I don't like the answer, you're gonna start hearing cries in the dark.
Okay. All right. What kind of answers do you like? What kind of answers do you like?
The honest ones.
Let's have a conversation. But what's your favorite color? Maybe we'll start small and go from there.
I don't know if you'd like my favorite color, because I like seeing it run from my enemies.
Well, yes, we'll stay away from colors. Then, all right.
Now,
Yes.
Enough of your games. We're playing my game.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I forgot.
Where is the forge?
Below.
And you can see grandfather slides to the side just a little bit and points to what looks to be very well concealed, but a trap door that he is sitting on.
All right. I like that answer. Now, where is Ordbreak for the forge?
That's the thing, you see. I appear to have misplaced. Appear to have misplaced the hammer. I think, as you can see, we're working round the clock, scheduled to find. It had very
Capable hands as he gestures to the trolls around you.
I've got all my top
Atticus is
brass
going to snatch the
thing.
notes off his desk and kind of like lean back and like start reading through the notes.
Is this too far away for Peren to hear? Like, far out is
Make me a
this?
perception check. It has gone dead silent now, so it is just the conversation between Atticus and grandfather at this point.
Okay. Dirty 22.
Yeah, you can. I mean, they're not really speaking in hushed voices, and it's echoing in this cavern now. It's fully, like, they've stopped lighting, like, the trolls that were lighting torches stopped at 3 now, and they're just frozen on the top of the ladder.
Peren's gonna lean in and whisper so that he can only be heard by would-be Flora and say, "Is that what you're looking for too?"
Not what I'm looking for.
You don't care about like an anvil and a hammer and shit?
There is... Make me a persuasion check in this moment. Atticus, go ahead and make me an investigation check, sifting through the papers here.
Persuasion's my other big one, so 26.
Okay. 26. 26 is good.
I rolled a 3. I'm guessing this is written in troll, and I don't read troll.
But Atticus being Atticus, he's like, yeah, oh, I've got your secrets now,
Yeah,
you dumb fuck.
You see a lot of, you're just kind of sifting through papers. Vox and Nyx, both of you, I think, are near enough to this. Go ahead and make me a perception check. Atticus, you don't find anything on a 3. Peren, on your 26 persuasion?
Yeah.
Flora looks at you. I'm looking for a cabin. Somewhere deep in the woods. I've only seen it in dreams. But I believe it to be somewhere in the heart of this place.
I got a 17.
13.
Okay. On a 17, Vox, Atticus is rifling through the papers on the desk. You see a small, what looks to be almost Post-it note sized scrap of paper comes like, and you can snatch it out of the air if you want. You look at it, not written in troll, just exceptionally bad handwriting on this scrap of paper.
Yeah.
Is a list. You see, you know, it's scrawling handwriting, but there's a lot of small things messily packed into this little note and then crossed out. They appear to be different areas in the cavern that have maybe been searched already. You see at the bottom of the list is just a little note where it just said, "Left on anvil?" ?
Nice.
Atticus is frustrated with the notes, and he just drives. He like breaks the table with his sword, and he like
Yeah,
he's like
make me a strength check real quick to do it. We won't go through.
Being there and seeing that
24.
now we have the trap door and the note. In Vox's head, we have everything that Atticus needs, and she would go to sneak attack Grandpa.
Cool.
And
Go for
almost synchronized Nyx is right there with her.
this is definitely going to be surprise round, so I'll let Vox go and then Nyx. But you're definitely not. This creature is surprised, so your assassin thing is going to kick in. You're also making these attacks with advantage.
Okay.
23 to hit.
Definitely hits.
21 to hit.
Definitely, they both hit. If you want to keep your mic on for the effect of hearing all those little math rocks clack around on the...
Before they're hit, Atticus is just
Yeah.
kind of ran. He's like, "This is why I fucking hate trolls. Y'all are stupid. You don't know how to ride. Thick as a castle wall. The lot of you are."
This is the first generation where we've actually gotten a bit of a handle on it.
Atticus is gonna kind of turn around and be like, "I have a strong feeling this is gonna be the last generation too."
Con save.
To say con save after a line like that.
I mean, it's probably pointless, but
That is a 12.
okay, that fails. Crits are double the damage you rolled, right?
You roll twice the amount of dice.
Okay.
Yes. So go ahead and roll all those dice again.
Should that Constitution save roll back into mine as well? Because I
No,
am
separate.
going to
I'll
be
make
hitting.
I'll make a separate.
Constitution save.
Oh, that is a nat 20 though on yours. So it's going to save
Perfect.
from that.
Okay.
Okay. It's an excessive amount of dice, but not that much actually was rolled. That's 39 for me, and then if they're still up, they are blinded.
And that's a 31 from me.
So 70 points of damage come in on Grandfather. Atticus, as you lean in, speak your words. Grandfather's eyes widen.
The door's just underneath me.
Fox and Nyx, what does this look like?
I think that they would definitely be flanking and come up either side.
Yep.
And Vox would have taken her dagger and gone in through the side and pulled up in like an opening, that whole side of him open.
And almost in a similar match from the chink in the armor right above and down.
Grandfather's eyes open wide one last time, looking at you, Atticus.
Well, that'll do it.
And just face plants in front of you and the sound echoes
Atticus,
throughout the
like,
cavern. All the trolls immediately just start screaming and running in every direction, just scattering.
In the chaos,
I should-
Atticus like pulls a handkerchief off because blood hit him, and he's like,
Do you all ever just want to like play with your food sometime? Like, you just went
That
in. I
was
had this whole
playing.
thing. I had this whole thing planned. You were a part of it.
And
And Atticus is
Oh,
like,
Atticus.
I was trying to be all romantic like and set it up for you. And
and Atticus is gonna like just hop down and like open the trap door and
This is for you, I think. Keep it nonsense. I know what you're looking for is no need for me. So this is for you. And Vox is going to hand him the little sticky D&D sticky note.
this looks like it's from a manual.
Yeah, it's honestly it's just a little scrap of paper that has a bunch of troll spit layered on the back,
Yeah.
so it's pretty sticky. I mean, you can chase down some of these trolls if you want. They're scattering to like they're headed back up the path. They're headed down. They're going in every direction.
One of them is just took 15 points of
One just
damage
dropped, just like,
because residual green flame off of short sword.
yeah. One of them just drops. Closest to the pedestal. Peren, back up you with Flora. There are some trolls that head in your direction. There's, you're at a pretty wide point in the path, so there's a gap kind of on either side of you. They look at you. It doesn't stop them from running. Like, yes, strangers here on the outskirts of the darkness are terrifying given what's going on. It's less terrifying than what's happening back in the center. So there's about a dozen or so that are just kind of streaming past you as they run screaming into the cavern. Flora's letting them pass.
But like, do you want them to get what they want? Or like, are they helping you get what you want?
Once they find what they want, they're still going to need a way out. And I think my usefulness to them will extend until then.
Right. Okay. Well. Okay. I guess let's go through that trapdoor they're all dropping through.
Before dropping through the trapdoor, Vox is going to shove her hand into the side of grandfather that she created, and I would like to rip out his heart and keep it in my little side bag.
Oof. Okay. No check to find it. It's a pretty big heart.
I hate this box.
God. Boy, that is gnarly. Okay. You open up the trapdoor. You can all head down. It is this kind of dark enclosed staircase that just sort of spirals down. Descends. I mean, it's hundreds of feet down. It's going to take you a minute to get to the bottom of this thing. Peren. Tell me, you still have we'll say in this moment, make me another wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, 7.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna mark that down. you all get to the bottom, no incident. Down here, it is almost completely black. It's not dim light. For those of you without dark vision, you'd need something to be able to see down here. But you're all free to make me a perception check as you reach the bottom.
Does Vox have dark vision? Sorry, I should have. Oh, okay.
I think
cool.
all elves, as elves would.
Yeah. Fox is very safe and comfortable in the dark, especially being with Nyx all the time.
11 for
21.
perception.
Cool.
26.
Okay. And Atticus, you can't see. There's no thing that gives an Eldritch Knight dark vision, right?
No.
Okay.
I got a 16 on my perception.
Okay, cool. Everyone but Atticus, as you reach the bottom, you look around, bare cavern floor. Not far from here, though, you see a space where the floor has been hewn flat, smooth, some sort of material, maybe iron, but it seems too smooth to be iron. If there was light, you think the surface would be reflective. It seems so clear. On that, you see what looks to be an anvil placed. It's a very simple wrought iron hammer. The handle made of blackened wood. The smith's hammer on top of the anvil. And next to that is a forge that has gone dark. It's not lit currently.
Vox would have, with her very, very bloody to the elbow hand, grabbed on to lead Atticus down. Just
Perfect.
hand
Yeah.
dripping.
Did one of those trolls try and take a stab at you, or is that old grandpa's?
Oh, it's just Grandpa's.
It's a beautiful color on you.
Oh, thank you. Now let's find this weapon so we can complete the deck.
I would love to get out of this hell and see my son. So yeah.
I mean, you all see. I think it sounds like you've, Atticus, Voxenix, you've discussed what each of you respectively are looking for. So, based off Atticus's description, this appears to be the hammer. Appears to be Wardbreak. This does appear to be the forge.
Can I have my flint with me and I can see. Can I try to light the room? Just to cast like dim light.
With a flint, you don't see any material down here to burn.
Oh, boo.
In this moment, it is just the five. I mean, are you telling Atticus that you see the forge ahead of you?
I would. I think I would have.
Cool. I mean, I'll also tell you this. If you all have adventurers packs, I mean, if you want to use your flint to light a torch down in this space, you absolutely can. I didn't think about you would have that in it. I think certainly Atticus would, unless you have some means of just creating flame.
Yeah, Atticus is gonna, as we approach, Atticus is gonna light his torch and like kind of set it down and just kind of stare into the flame to see. He's like, all right, I'm here. What's the next move? And he's gonna look into the flame intently to see if he gets a message of sorts.
You look into the flame. an image familiar and hollow-eyed to you, Atticus, that if anyone else is looking carefully at the flame, they might see for a moment like the image of it formed in the flame, but it would disappear in an instant. For you, Atticus, it's very clear. And a voice rings out in this space from the fire that everyone can hear.
Sacrifice must be made to light the flame again.
Is anything you ask, Master? But where? What type?
It must cost something.
Atticus nods to that, and the only thing that matters to Atticus is himself. So he nods and like bows at the fire and kind of just makes it dissipate with control fire, and steps onto the forge and looks at Nyx and Vox and even Peren and goes,
Well, if I've ever done anything to wrong you, now's your chance to get payback. So, who's first?
Vox would have leaned and stepped back towards Nyx and it just said, why don't you take that one? He's done his job. We found our way here. It's not useful anymore.
Oh, and
Unless you
Atticus
want to get out of here.
Atticus looks at Perrin and he goes,
Why don't you track me down? Come on, you must be real angry. I laid hands on you. I won't even fight back.
I don't need to do anything else edgy. Perrin walks over and looks at the forge and kind of leans in. It just what is the kind of, is there a receptacle? What's going on? Is there a fuel source?
The way that it's working, there is no fuel source. I will tell you that. It is an empty forge. Not enclosed at the top, but rather just walled on either side in a circular way with an opening here in the front and then a trough. It looks like meant to be, you put whatever fuel you have in the thing, and then there's kind of this secondary cauldron here that would be heated and then poured into the little channel with the channel that's carved into the flat spot within, which is like the lip of this thing, basically, where Atticus is standing on now. But I think Perrin would know you're looking, like, there's no fuel in this forge. You're looking at the fuel.
Sure. Okay. Well, Perrin will pick up the hammer that's sitting there. And he kind of gestures for Atticus to put his head on the anvil.
Perrin, I know it's not him. I know it's not him, but you don't have to do this. Perrin, it doesn't feel good.
No one ever has to do anything. When I was a child, Peren says this to Atticus. When I was a child, they told me that I would be a weapon to cleanse awful things from this world. And I ran away from that for a very long time. But you'll just keep coming back, won't you?
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. But if you somehow strike me down now and I don't, then at least I'll know I served my master the way they wanted me to. I don't question. I just do what I'm told.
And he's gonna lay his head on the anvil.
Now, just like I'm telling you to do this, get over it.
Yeah, well, I learned one of the most important parts of being a knight was cooperation. So I'll cooperate. And he brings the hammer down onto Atticus's head.
I think, Prawn, you're not going to have to make an attack roll for this. Just roll damage. You're going to roll a d8 plus your strength. We'll say, well, I think it's at this, it counts as a critical. So I guess 2d8 plus
10.
Well,
10,
now this is just painful to watch
so
with his
tell me,
thick skull. I might as well
at-
just take him out of his misery.
at 10 damage, Atticus, how many hits does it take for Atticus to fall?
To get to the center of Atticus's brain. It's going to take, based off that damage, 8 more swings. If it's at that damage.
Peren.
Nix is gonna help.
Atticus just is like, oh, you got a little. Oh, I almost felt that.
Yeah,
Smash him.
Peren's heart is not all the way in it, but he hits him again.
Come
Again,
on,
you feel
slay the
bone,
big
you hear
bad
a
man.
crack.
Slay the big bad man. Be a knight like you're talking about.
Peren hits him a third time.
More give.
Peren desperately flips through his notes for something clever to do.
They're
Peren hits him again.
25.
Another 25 comes in from Nyx, I would assume, like stabbing and twisting something.
Atticus kind of like looks back and his like head is kind of like starting to like it's kind of busted at this point, and he's just gonna be like, he's just gonna look and just kind of like he's gonna slam his head on the anvil.
I think at this point the Peren, you can tell that this is the last blow of the hammer that needs to fall right now. What does Peren do?
Yeah, I think Peren brings it up one more time. This hammer. And he... How big is this forge, by the way?
Big enough to put a body in.
While that hammer up, Atticus, on death's door for sure, is looking at Peren and smiling. It may be a different Atticus, but the smile is universal.
Peren feels that, and with his other hand that's not holding this hammer, he thinks of the time when he beat Balak's face in, and he thinks of the time that he opened a door and sent a man into an unknown forest with a cabin in it, and he reaches out with his other hand and he opens the front of the forge. He puts all of his will into that door.
Okay. Roll me an Arcana check.
Okay.
Takes-
Jack of all trades also. Okay, I rolled a 16 plus 2, 18.
You go in this place to try and tap into that. You can't. There's something powerful on the other side. More powerful than usual. You hear the sound of gnawing, cracking, something being consumed. And somehow you get a familiar feeling that you know what that could be. You can't open the door. Do you bring the hammer down?
Yep.
For a moment, that last strike rings out. The still form of Atticus slumped over on the edge of the forge. As the blood drips. And then a smell. Sulfur. Burning. Even down here, wind begins to pick up. Something within the fragments of Atticus's skull begin to glow, molten. The drops of blood, like drops of fire now, onto the floor below. And then a tower of flame.
Having killed Atticus before, Nyx is going to step back and
Yeah.
push Fox back as well and protect them with their body.
Your face is lit up. Flora takes a step back, eyes wide. A column of flame that reaches hundreds of feet into the air. And from out of the smoke, you step, Atticus. One earring less. Behind you, the forge springs to life.
Why? He's gonna look at Nix and be like, "Why'd you try and speed that long? I was trying to prove a point. I was
I mean,
having a
it's a
good time.
neat trick. We can always repeat it.
I mean, this one felt important to get across to our new compatriot, but I
What was that
appreciate
you
it.
were saying to Vox earlier? Very melodramatic.
Yeah, I like to. I feel like you two like to just eat it down to the bone when you're consuming. I like to play with it a little bit.
Your face looks so good smashed in, though.
Yeah, was my brain as charming as his face? And Atticus is gonna take the hammer out of Perrin's hand, or try to at least. I don't know how hard he's gripping it.
If Peren doesn't contest.
Perrin's a little white knuckle, but he's not really fighting back. He's just kind of gripped on it.
Yeah, you take the hammer. The forge is still lit, Atticus.
Atticus
Well done, new guy. I
gonna
didn't think you had it in you.
pat Perrin on the shoulder and be like, "You take orders really good. Maybe you can be my squire one day." And he's gonna walk towards the fire. and just look into the fire and feel the energy of it and see if he needs to consume the fire or let it burn.
As you burn, you just hear that voice echo inside you.
Reach out your hand.
Atticus is going to reach his hand out for the fire.
At first, just little points in the flame that lick at fingers, and then starting at the hand, moving up the forearm all the way to the elbow, you're wreathed in the flames of the forge, and they burn, and the skin beneath starts to blacken, and then and I think anyone who's looking at Atticus would see a glow behind their eyes and down their mouth, almost as if looking down a long cavern with a powerful fire in the distance. You see a dim glow. Atticus, you aren't going to take any damage from this, but you do have 13 points of fire damage that is in you now to be on your next attack. You have the flame and you have the hammer. Your artifacts. You need now whatever bargains you've made on the way along to get here, whether you will fulfill those or not. One thing does remain true, is that you need a way out.
All right. Well, rarely do people keep their end of the deal. What now? My master thanks you, by the way, all of you.
And he's going to look directly at Peren when he says that too. Like end on Peren when he says that.
Fox bows at nothing, not knowing who you're talking about.
Flora looks to you, Peren. I think it's about time we find another door.
Right. Another door. It will keep going.
Peren, make me a perception check.
Does 28 hit?
Oh my god. On a 28. You glance down. Must have fallen out of your cloak on that last hit. You see a small wooden bird.
It rings a bell, and he like pats, like you do your keys wallet phone pat, and he kind of pats the pouch that it should have gone in, and he bends down to pick it up.
You touch it. As you touch it, you hear... It's not Amos. She's not making any sound. You hear bird song in your head. Something familiar. You've heard it somewhere before. Holding this directly into your mind, you hear a voice that is at once seemingly familiar, but also you can't place it. Some kind of sending some message left in the figure. Memories are sacred. A shared past that binds our lives together.
If we remove that which is painful, we change ourselves, and therefore the world. But in chaos, the one thing we can choose is courage. The strength to give a better life to those who come after us. And perhaps it is better that our sufferings had never occurred. But there's no way to reconcile with this pain other than to fight for a brighter dawn. Not because we are chosen, not because no one else can, but because in our hearts we know how much it would have meant to us to be protected.
And the voice fades.
It being a sending like message, does Peren feel like he can like respond in any way?
You don't feel a connection to respond. It's almost like there's nothing there on the other end that could respond. It's like you'd be yelling into a void. Something else happens. On the low wisdom save from earlier, the weight impossible to feel it gone unless you are so accustomed to having it there all the time that in its absence it feels like a piece of you disappears. You look over. Amos is gone.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. Really was trying to save her.
Fuck,
think-
Elijah, you actually made me cry. Damn it.
I think as he kind of like comes to terms with these realizations, he feels his sense of self kind of evaporating around him. It's still there, he can still remember it, but he can't remember why. And I think in this moment, he feels really, truly lost. He does not know why he's been doing any of what he's been doing. And so he just shrugs, and he looks for another door.
You look out in the darkness now that the fire from the forge is gone. Several 100 feet away in the face of the cliff, here at the base of the cavern, you see a door. Roll me, in this moment, roll me one more wisdom save and do it with advantage as Flora reaches out and touches your shoulder.
It was going to be a 6, but with advantage, it's 15.
Flora is looking at you. Do you think you can find it this time?
This cabin, this place you dream of.
Yes.
I hope so. It would be good to find it again. But I don't know if it's there anymore. I don't know if what it means is there anymore.
Open it. I need to see it. It cost them everything. I need to know what it'll cost me.
Peren smiles, and for a moment, the worry kind of drops off his face. And the smile feels genuine. Cold, but genuine. It always costs us everything eventually. And he starts towards the door.
Okay. Is everyone following towards the door?
Yes.
We're looking away, but there is a resounding chorus of nods going on.
Okay, cool.
Also, still mad at you.
Atticus is can Atticus is feels the flames within him, and he's kind of trying to listen to what that's telling him to do. It wouldn't be the first time. He probably hasn't saw it. Once he got what he wanted, he
Right.
didn't see a deal through.
Give me an insight check.
That's an 8.
All you hear is the sound of a fire growing, consuming more.
Mm-hmm.
Something feeding off of what you have given to it.
Yeah, Atticus is going to follow.
Cool. Okay. In order to make this check for the door, I want an Arcana check from Peren.
Okay. In this moment, Tyler, am changing over to my new Peren character sheet.
Cool.
19.
Cool. 19.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. Dirty 20. I still have Jack of all trades.
Okay. All right, that is going to make this just a flat luck check for the door. You want a higher roll, so on an 11 through 20. That's a 5. You go to open the door. Peren, as you open it out, as you open the door, you're looking out on a familiar meadow. Little stream kind of cutting through it to the side. Opposite from you, we'll say about 60 feet away or so, you see another door. And you're kind of walled in on this side by rocks, but on this side, on the other side of the stream, it is just a big open meadow, mountains far in the distance. That's all you see in the room.
Just familiar meadow?
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't been here before, meadow?
To place the memory, make me at this point, the way that things are sort of degrading for you, go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, nope, nat 1.
A nat 1.
Yeah.
You can't place the rim.
I think these are called trees, and that's a stream.
Yeah. As the lot of you, if you're entering the room with Peren, you come in. Appears to be a simple. Again, you're walled in on this side by rock, and that kind of extends over, almost like you're in the mouth of a cave. But it's green grass underfoot, clover, few little sparse wildflowers, a door on the other side about 60 feet away in the rock, and then to your right is just a small. It's just a stream, divides you maybe like 15 feet or so from the meadow on the other side, and then the distance, some mountains.
Is this the way out? Are we out? Or are we still in looking for whatever do you need?
We're
It's both.
not leaving until I complete the deck.
We helped you this far. Now it's your turn to return the favor.
I mean, help is a pretty generous word, but I'll see through. I'll see through.
And
What
Atticus
are
is
you
going to walk
completing?
through.
I'm just so I can keep my eyes open.
I would like to do. Vox does not like that question from someone that does not already know, especially him saying that he already knew so much. What we're completing is of none of your concern. She already knows, and she.
That's fine. I don't really give a shit. That's whatever. Peren starts towards the door.
Oh. Fox just wide-eyed stares and looks back at Nyx and back at Peren. And
Let's go!
All of you, go ahead and make me a Constitution save.
Wait. This
Correct.
is very familiar.
Correct!
Wait.
I rolled a nat 20.
17.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
23.
Damn. You all feel great. The fresh air is invigorating after being in this castle for so long.
I'm almost a little bit upset.
Yeah.
For a second there, I thought it was going to be a full reversal, and only Atticus was going to.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is anyone thirsty? Do you want to refill your water? This is like, fresh water is rare. It's mostly desert, so.
Finally, I'm getting the smell of troll out of my nose.
He's gonna fucking hawk a just snot rocket out.
For the cave, it's so fucking bright out here.
Peren,
Good? Nobody? Alright. Door.
you walk to the door, say what you do about the stream, you look over. You look. You're not casting a reflection in the stream. Your hand, as you hold it up, it's almost like you can see through the edges of it. Things are becoming less solid. Still solid enough, you know. You feel the weight of the handle on the door in front of you. Something is gnawing at you.
Yeah, I mean, they tend to. He reaches into his pack and pulls out a bottle of wine.
There's wine there.
Yeah, he's gonna start drinking
Cool.
very quickly.
Before you go to open the door, make me another Arcana check.
9.
Okay.
He's also gonna just kind of glance at the stream and see if there's any wildlife around the stream.
Make me a perception check.
15.
Atticus, I want you to make me a perception check.
Uh, 10.
Cool. Tyler, on a 15, you look back. You see something moving in the grass, something small near the stream. For a moment, you think you make it out. It's green skin, small. Atticus's armored boot comes down.
Reminds me of a friend I knew once. His name was Squirt.
Well,
All right, let's go. And Peren opens the door.
Fuck! Jesus Christ. Okay.
I don't like this game anymore.
I'm crying again. This is awful.
It's
Atticus,
You
like-
were all so excited when you were like, "Oh, I'll play the evil version."
Atticus feels like this is a crunch in the out from his boot, and he just like digs his foot into the dirt to wipe it off, and he's like, "Fucking disgusting." And
We
keeps
live
walking.
here now. We live here now. You had your fun. Now we live here.
Peren, you take a drink. You go to open the door. It takes a lot of. I'm gonna say this is a pretty nice drop that you've like. This is a good bottle of elven wine that you've spirited away here, pun intended. You take a heavy pull. Hand reaches out, grabs the knob. There's that initial little buzz as the elven wine hits you. Like, you're certainly not drunk. It would take so much more, but there is that just little, like, you have to recalibrate your senses for a second. In that moment, looking over to your left, Flora is right there at the door looking at it, turns to look at you, and for the first time, gives you a small smile. And in this moment, you're looking at her. Some reason you are here. You are coming through the door, a house. Fauna. You came through to help Fauna. And here she is, right at the door with you. As Flora smiles at you. And you see Fauna.
Hey there, Starlight. Let's get out of here.
You open the door. And we're actually going to close and end the session a little early right there before we see what's on the other side of that door that I rolled a nat 20 on, regardless of the Arcana check. And that's all for Castle Run this week. We'll return with more of what I'm going to call Tower Hustle.
Everybody roll for emotional damage.
Yeah, next week.
Jesus Christ.
And we'll see everyone then.
Bye, friends.